Ladies and gentlemen, students and studentesses, my name is Tshekedi Monyemore. I am from raetse.co.za, the online tutor service application or app. Now, we're going to be doing an assignment right here. It's the assignment from a student who has sent it to us, and it is assessed critically by one of our learned and most awesome tutors, Letlhogonolo Nthodi. I'm basically just doing the voiceover for it, and I hope that we're gonna have fun while listening and learning together. This is for assignment. This is from obviously UNISA. Excuse me. If I could just find the assignment name and number. Well, as I said, we're gonna enjoy ourselves right here. This is English 1502. English 1502. Let's hear what she has to say. All right, question 1. Just a disclaimer to the students, it's important to know that this piece can be argued as either persuasive or argumentative. These dimensions will be explored in the answer. Remember, we're not just giving you answers, but really guiding you towards them. Whichever side you choose, substantiate it as much as possible. The structure of the answer is point form in order to give you a blueprint of the answer, because we do not want you to have homogeneous answers. By that we mean we don't want you to have answers that are all the same. This defeats the purpose of this online tutorship mentorship situation that we've got going on. Okay, cool. Let's discuss this as per Letlhogonolo Nthodi's notes. Let's go. The thesis statement, the writer starts off with an authoritative tone, but by referencing the Public Protector's Office. This draws it more of an argumentative stance because we know that the opinion of the writer is drawn from the article. The next point, the piece aligns with the ethos of the readers because it speaks to the ethics of the people in authority. The fact that an accountability measure of one entity, public protector, is squared up against another, the SABC, introduces an argumentative element of checks and balances which is ideal in an utopia state. Therefore, the writer's argument implies that the state institutions are at work as accountability measures against one another or each other. The next point elaborates the following. The pathos of the readers is appealed to by the repetitive use of the word dishonest in inverted commas in multiple variations. There's an element of persuasion with the use of the word because it is emotive language which demands for introspection of the reader. The reader has to evaluate whether Mr. Motsuning's conduct is indeed dishonest in light of the information and wording used, already pushing the reader towards that belief. Hope this brings a bit more insight into answering the question. Still on question 1. The target audience is anyone with an interest in the culture of corruption in our country, South Africa. Anyone with such interest would know that the Public Protector's Office is a Chapter 9 institution established by the Constitution, has as part of its mandate the responsibility of holding state-owned enterprises such as the SABC accountable for their conduct. Any decision flowing from this institution, the SABC, is important for the running of this country, South Africa. The genre of the article is biographical because it speaks about the term of office of the then COO of the SABC. It is written in the past tense, detailing his conduct during his tenure. For instance, open quotation, he unilaterally increased salaries, close quotation. There's also a sense of anaphora throughout the text with words such as dishonest, improper conduct, irregular appointments. Now, what does this anaphora mean? This basically is in writing or speech, the deliberate repetition of the first part of the sentence in order to achieve an artistic effect is known as anaphora. I hope that's how you pronounce it, but please do look it up. Remember, we encourage you to actually do your own research as well. Let's get to it. There are, euphemisms, and connotations. Instead of using the word unprecedented, the writer could have said that Mr. Motsuneng's conduct had never been done before. To use unprecedented makes it more monumental because the root word of unprecedented, which is precedent, suggests the setting of a norm. For instance, the current lockdown that we are in, it is unprecedented. The first of its kind. We could have said it's never happened before. Something like this. Azange yaetsagala mo South Africa. However, you can use words such as it's unprecedented. It sets a certain tone towards your writing as well. The word, therefore, cements his conduct in a sort of history-making way. Use of the word unilaterally instead of the phrase without consultation makes Mr. Motsuneng seem as if he took the decisions as a dictator, also highlighting and cementing his unethical behavior. Following the next discussion points. This piece of writing is persuasive for the following reasons. The thesis statement starts off with the author telling the feminist stance on the matter of stereotyping against women. Stereotyping and discrimination have created a situation where women have a less chance of education, fewer career opportunities, and other dimensions, social dimensions. This style of listing the predominant alleged effects of stereotyping is important in that it makes them less important. The writer does not care to substantiate, making it clear that it is not his view, but that of another person. That's very interesting. So the writer actually sort of disconnects from this point of view and not necessarily makes it a personal view of theirs. The writer downplays the initiative of liberal feminists and their belief that education is the key by involving the state. He is undermining every argument posed for the stereotyping of women, but does not provide an alternative argument or a reason as to why the status quo should prevail as is. Now moving on to the next one. That's very interesting to find out a lot more about the writer's perspective, where they are looking at the story, how they are writing the story, from what point of view they are writing the story. It could give you a lot more about the actual story as well. Maybe when you do read a lot of the subscribed books, try to find out about the writer, where they are from, the history, mostly what actually influenced them to write the book. Moving on to the next point, the writer further downplays the importance of good practice by putting in a quotation marks, suggests that the writer does not see the importance of good practice geared towards women. By doing this, the writer makes the attempt made by the liberal feminists as a futile and exaggerated exercise, while delegitimizing it, the actual point of view that the feminists have. Here are a few ways in which society and society's institutions contribute to gender stereotyping. Media always depicts women in society within a predominantly domestic realm as caregivers of the home, and never really as, the professionals or as the boss of the private institution. It's always sunlight, mama there. Well, you guys remember that advert back in the day? Yeah, cotton man. Those detergents. It's always mothers and everything like that. You know what I mean? So think about it, how the media actually does portray women within society. Many women are not given promotions on merit because there is still an underlying belief that they may have children at the workplace or while they're working they might fall pregnant and therefore slow down the progress of the company by taking maternity leaves. Well, you could also argue that there are paternity leaves at this moment, although they are not as long, and this is a fairly new concept as well. There are still gendered jobs or gender-based jobs in the workplace, such as private assistants, secretaries, and tea ladies. Or, maybe we could start having tea guys. Who knows? Things need to start changing. There are some jobs, I believe, that, we need to let go of them being gendered, as the text suggests. The job criteria always include a gendered element for application. I'm sure after you graduate, there might be situations where you see that, or even while you might know someone that's looking for a job and they say they only look for men or women. But mainly, again, we're speaking about how the media obviously portrays women within society. There is a structural issue with catering for women in the workplace. There are still no bathrooms catering for changing children or breast pump rooms which are sanitized within workplaces, let alone at public malls and things like that. Women are forced to pump in toilets, which is not an incentive of some sort. They are disincentivized for going to work because there is no space for them to fulfill their maternal roles, therefore subjecting them to being at home and not necessarily venturing out into the work area or having other aspirations and everything. Of course, there are certain cases, but the majority of women around there, I mean, we're talking about women that live in townships, women from rural areas and everything like that. Not a lot of empowerment goes over to them. You know what I mean? Wathinta mfazi utla ifeleletse. The picture supports the text in as far as it discusses the stereotypes against women. The poster places women in the domestic realm and creates a double standard on the notions of work. For the man, cooking is a career because outside the domestic realm, it has a different title. You could call them a chef or a cook. For the woman, it is not seen as work because anything in the domestic realm is seen as the responsibility of a woman and solely of a woman. It is what they are supposed to do because there is no compensation linked to it. That's very interesting. There's a tone of entitlement in the man's voice and a rejection of doing anything feminine, even though his profession could be seen as having a feminine nuance. Essentially, for instance, cooking is predominantly known as bomme, women, ladies, abafazi are the ones that cook. Even if it's a guy who's doing it, he'll still have, in this case, that prowess that, I'm a chef, not just a cook. You know what I mean? The woman's body language suggests that she is satisfied with her role or this role, concurring with the text that education does not seem to be a viable alternative and that maybe liberal feminists have a rose-tinted view of the world. What does this say? This says that maybe liberal feminists might not be seeing the world like realists or in a practical and sensible way. The picture reminds me of a stock and annoying quote. This is Hloni reminding, the picture reminds her. Remember, these are her notes, our knowledgeable tutor. So she says, the picture reminds me of a stock and annoying quote that suggests and says, open quotation, behind every successful man is a strong woman who held it all together for him to actually be successful. Close quotation. Suggesting that the role of the woman is to support her husband and make sure that he's fed while doing whatever he does. Behind her is nobody, however. Nobody is encouraging her or thanking her for her work and labor of managing a home. So this really speaks towards the disempowerment of women, especially within the South African context, and how the media is playing a role in this light. We really hope that this discussion, this critical analysis of the assignment questions actually does help you out. Good luck with the assignment. And remember, just because you're on lockdown and quarantined, it does not mean that you need to actually stop studying. Please let your friends know about raetse.co.za. Put it up on your socials. If you're looking for material on it, please go on to our Facebook platform. That's raetse.co.za, or rather Raetse Educational. It's there as well. Like our page, follow us. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know, give us any suggestions, and yeah, we'll be happy to do it. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, continue to get your learn on. Get your learn on. Ke re e reng corona mo baneng.